Time for what?
Experience in college.
Time for reinforcement.
Time for liftoff!
Welcome to College for All, where nothing is impossible unless you think it is impossible.
College.
My college scholarship.
Yes. Boom.
College ran by real fast.
You hung in with the best college.
First time for everything.
Well, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Let's do this thing.
Genius, let's do this thing!
Welcome to College for All, where nothing is impossible unless you think it is impossible. This is AMV bringing you information about college and beyond. You can also follow us on social media at college, 4, all AMV on Twitter and Instagram. So let's kind of talk about spring 2021. A very unique year. If you thought spring 2020 was unique, well, let's put it this way. When I go on a browser and search what juniors need to know for spring 2021, there are no articles. You know what articles that come up? Are articles from last spring semester. No one's talking about it because there's not a lot of solid answers that's out there. And at the same time, there's a lot going on. So let's remember this. Some things are important to realize, like those little baby steps. Baby steps in any type of process, whether it's academic, whether it's personal or professional, little steps, doing those little steps, just like as we're a little baby with a great supportive group is important. And when things get hard, it's okay to take a nap. If things get exciting, yes, it's okay to give praise. And just remember, it takes one step at a time. So let's talk about those steps. So for the class of 22, this is a special podcast episode for you. Yes, even though there's a lot going on, if you reflect back in history, there is always a lot going on. But these are very different times. And what that means is that you have to kind of reflect for yourself what's really important for you moving forward to your next chapter in your educational life. What are the key resources and opportunities that helped you thrive already in high school? And what are certain things that, if you had a choice, you don't want? Now, keep in mind, there's certain things that we can control, right? The decisions we make, how we show gratitude, how we take care of ourselves and our neighbors. And there's certain things that we don't have control, like policies, or whether everything's going to be remote or hybrid or in person. So let's kind of go back to basics and remember that you need to kind of rank not colleges, but rank what's really important and needed for you. That may be, I need a lot of financial aid from a school. That may be, I really need a supportive environment. That may mean I need a specific major because I want to really learn about neuroscience or public policy. And you may start off and like, I don't know what I really want. And that's okay too. And that's why it's important to use different search mechanisms to put down some of the interests that you have, but also what you do know is what does work for you. Was it having enrichment programs important? Maybe you want to confirm that that college has a lot of great internships. Was it a close-knit community, whether it was online or not? Was there a lot of fun in other programs that's really important to you, whether it be from the knitting club or whether it be, a basketball game? There is no right or wrong answer, but you need to do some self-reflection of what really works for you and do have a conversation. Make it just even 10 minutes of asking your family, hey, what do you need? Is there a certain about a financial aid? Is there certain things that you're hoping for? Remember, you're not deciding where you're going to college. You're deciding and exploring where to apply. Now, while you're going through this, there's a couple of decisions that a junior needs to make right now every spring semester. Number one, and something that will never change, is your classes for your senior year. Still so important are those senior classes. Yes, you will be admitted based on those classes. Yes, you will also be admitted based on those grades in your senior classes. Senior grades do count. No joke. They can rescind.
It's 9:45.
That's right. It is 9:45. They can rescind your application if your grades are not the best. So keep that in mind. So make sure you have a challenging course load that gives you room for another very demanding class called college application. Just ask any senior right now how exhausting it is, especially in an add-on more work if you do financial aid and scholarships. And then also just regarding about the exhaustion, right? What's going to give you some time to be with friends and family and other activities, all critical variables in that. So all colleges will be looking at that. But what about the thing that a lot of people talk about, test? Well, there's a big changes on tests. Just go to FairTest, FAIR test.org, and you'll see there are thousands of colleges that went test optional, meaning you don't have to submit a test score. And there's some schools like the UCs who are saying, we're not going to look at test scores at all, right? And there are other ones like the Cal State systems and many other private schools that don't know. A lot of them are going to make some decisions late spring semester. So let's take a moment to kind of talk about all the different tests. And then we will create another podcast episode once things get finalized, the pros and cons of each of those. So remember, if a school is test free, like the UC system, that means even though you got a perfect score, they will not use it in the admissions. It's going to be based on your courses, your activities, all the things that you've shown, like based on your leadership, awards, your school that you attend, what type of classes you've taken, and also those statements. Now, for schools that are test optional, there are some schools like Santa Clara University in California, Haverford in Pennsylvania, who said, hey, we're going to do this test optional thing for 3 years. And what that means is it's like, hey, if you have some strong test scores, strong means that you're above 70 percentile average of other students who applied to that campus, then go ahead, send them. But hey, those classes, your leadership, whether in home or in activities, awards, those statements, recommendations, still very, very important. And so that's something important to keep that in mind. But you also like, hey, I'm not above 70%. Hey, it's hard to get a test in my area. Hey, I don't like tests. You don't have to take it. Just make sure those other variables, again, classes, your grades, your activities, your awards, and your statements and recommendations are strong. Yeah, this is a good time to think about who's that junior English, math, social studies, science, or language other than the English, aka world language teacher, I should ask for a letter recommendation for next year. Very important. You want to see what type of student you are in the classroom. So those variables get really looked in very closely. And then there are going to be some schools that they call test flexible. One who has historically been one was NYU. You get to choose what type of test scores. They were test optional for the class of 21. We'll see what happens next season. They're going to announce a late spring. But Georgetown this year was test flexible, meaning, hey, if you took any test, including an AP, you have to submit those scores to us. But if you didn't, let us know why, right? This thing called COVID-19, test sites closing. And so those are another type of school that's out there. So what should you do? Search your colleges now. And guess what? you really want to search how they're handling the pandemic. How have they been supportive even to international students? Did they have a place to stay during this pandemic? How are they handling testing, right? Though there's a vaccine that's out there, remember COVID-19 is still going to be part of our world for a while. So, how have they set up clinics? How do they have support program? How's their wellness center? How are they taking care of students who may have had anxiety or stress? How are they making sure people are having fun, whether it's remote or not? How are they doing different programs? RateMyProfessor.com is a great way to see what students are saying who are actual students from that campus to survey and get on their mailing list. Keep in mind, colleges do look whether if you are signing up for their mailing list, yep, get on those mailing lists. They're checking to see, hey, have you ever emailed your representative? Yeah, you could just literally just Google like University of Colorado Boulder, California rep, and it'll come up. Yes, it will come, and you can email that representative. Do I meet the requirements? Is there anything else I need to do? Because Colorado Boulder is an out-of-state public school for California. So is it harder for me to get in? Is there anything else that I can help with my application process? Also, yes, you can also contact financial aid. And if you are a parent or guardian listening to this, you can also email the financial aid, not admissions, but financial aid, to find out what are all those forms. Every year we have senior parents or students who are like, oh my God, I have to still send what forms in what way? Follow up. So the sooner you can narrow down that college list, the better. But remember, it's okay if it feels like an accordion. Never see an accordion? Okay. An accordion is basically a musical instrument that kind of moves out and in. Out and in. Think of like those expanding folders, right? So it's okay that your college list gets a little bit big and gets smaller, and then a little bit get big again and smaller. At the same time, this is a great time for students to do, you may not get tired of Zoom and all this other online stuff, but guess what? You can do student panels. You can go and do virtual tours. There are so many different opportunities that never was out there before. Some of them are doing like Instagram conversations. So go ahead and create an Instagram like I Love College Instagram, and follow these colleges that you're trying to check out to see what you want. And when you look at your colleges, you want to make sure that you're not compromising the stuff that you need, but you do need to have some compromise on your college list. No college has everything. What you do want to make sure that the college at a bare minimum has what you need to excel, not only as a freshman, but also when you graduate to college for career opportunities and you have a smile on your face like, oh my God, I am so glad I went to that school. I got some great friends, great network, great community. I'm a stronger and better person. That's what makes a great college campus. So one of the things as you're creating this college list, you want to do the tours, create a plus and minus list, and create a spreadsheet of the colleges and the requirements that you do. And then here's the part that I love the best is start creating a journal, writing about what makes you great. Usually the prompts for the UC system, you have to create 4 of them, don't change that much. The Common App, I've been doing this, yes, for over a quarter of a century. And pretty much what they're looking about is what makes you great. How have you learned? How have you overcome? And then have some side notes of researching for those private schools. They're going to ask you a lot of things that are really important to their mission statement. And now there are mechanisms like Common App, which is an application for about 900 colleges worldwide, where you can start filling out, just say like 1 question a week. And this will be the main part of the application. Do not fill out specific questions to a specific campus because it changes every year, right? Because colleges look at what worked and what didn't work. Okay, so the key thing is reflect on what your current high school has done well, so you can continue to look for that at your college, and then kind of decide what didn't work well so that you could kind of avoid that in the future. Second thing is start searching. Go, 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 and make it a fun time. Do it with friends. Schedule those meetings with your counselors so that you could search this. Do not feel you have to do this by yourself.